Welcome to the Uzziah Show. I am your host, Uzziah, your success strategist. And if you have any questions about your business, career, or finances, then this is the show for you. Welcome. I'm excited because tonight we're going to talk about motivation. How do you feel about being motivated? And is motivation necessary in order for you to be successful? That's what we're going to talk about. So make sure that you tune in. If you are on, please leave your name in the comments below so that way I can shout you out and show you some love. Guess what, guys? If this is your first time joining, welcome. My name is Uzziah. I'm a professional business consultant, and my job is to help you get out of debt so that you can start your own business. And one of the most important things that you need to understand about how to be successful in business is the value of motivation. Is motivation critical to getting the job done? Okay, this is what we're going to talk about in tonight's broadcast. Make sure that you smash the like button. Make sure that if you like tonight's broadcast, y'all show some support. Okay, make sure that y'all give a quick donation. All you got to do is super chat and click the dollar icon in the live chat box below. Now I got a question for y'all. When y'all wake up every day, are you motivated? Are you motivated to get big things done with your life? I know all of us got big dreams, big goals, big aspirations, but I want you to leave me a comment below. Out of 7 days in a week, how many days are you motivated? I'm asking this for a very important reason. Do successful men need motivation? Some people are more motivated than others. Does motivation dictate success? Now, quick shout out to Ariel. She says that she's excited for this show. And she said that she's excited and curious to know my thoughts on motivation. Well, this might be something different than what a lot of y'all suspect. That's why I want to get your commentary now. Do you think that motivation is important on the road to success? Let's go ahead and dive into this topic, guys. You've got motivational speakers that will convince people that the reason why they're not successful is because they're not motivated. You might think that the reason why you're not winning is because you just don't have the right motivation that you need. That's a myth. Successful men do not need motivation because motivation is a fleeting emotion. If you are relying on motivation alone to get you to greatness, there's no way that you're going to get to the other side. Because if you're honest about how much you're motivated, the average person does not have enough motivation in order to go through the days of consistency that is needed to get to the next level of results. So let's talk more about this. Let's say that maybe there's some days where you're motivated to work at a 10, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, in terms of you going hard, some days you're motivated to go at a 10. But then on the days that you're not motivated, you'll put in a 3 level effort, 4, 5. And so that should show you right there that if you only have little bits and pieces of time in your schedule where you only feel like working at a 10, there's no way that you're going to get the success that you want because it's too inconsistent. The reality is, successful people perform at a level of 8 or higher per day. And the only way that you'll be able to hit that number consistently is if you're able to produce quality work that doesn't need motivation. Okay. Motivation alone is the one of the primary reasons why most people never escape average, because they've convinced themselves that if they don't feel like doing it, then they just shouldn't do it. And that's the reason why it's so hard for us to reach goals. Now, let's talk about this, guys. Okay. And again, I want to get y'all's comments. Shout out to my brother Yasha Allah for the $20 super chat. Definitely looking forward to your insights on tonight's broadcast. Successful people do things when they don't want to do it. If the only time that you do something is when you feel like doing it, there's no way you can ever reach greatness. So when you look at people who have great bodies, I promise you, there were times they went to the gym and worked out when they didn't feel like working out. If you are an athlete and you're trying to get to a professional league, there's no way that you're going to get to the pros if you only feel like practicing when you want to practice. I don't care what you do in your life. There's going to be times where you don't feel like doing whatever it is that you've been called to do. So in those times where you don't feel like doing it, what do you have? What happens? Do you just, throw your hands up and just walk away? Or do you continue to focus on your craft? Do you continue to stay focused on that vision? And if so, how do you do it? Successful people don't rely on motivation. They rely on their systems, their habits, and their teams. If you're going to get to the next level of success as we prepare for the year to come, you need to be fully invested on building systems, habits, and teams that will help you get to your success. All of this will serve as your safety net, so that way you can move forward even when you don't feel like working. Okay. So let's talk about this, guys. Okay. Motivation is an incredible thing. As much as you have it, use it. But the problem is, none of us have it all the time. We always go through highs and lows. And so, what you need to figure out is, how do I get the job done even when I don't feel motivated? Now, see, there's some of you that are watching this broadcast, and you'll say to me, well, you know what, Uzziah? There are times in which I don't feel motivated. But all I need to do is cut on YouTube and listen to you talk about success, and then I'll be motivated. But what happens when you're put in situations where you can't cut on YouTube? What happens when you're put in environments where all you have to do is work? And so, where there's nobody in your background motivating you as you tune into somebody else's broadcast, how will you maneuver then? See, when you come to this channel, this is to help you become the best version of yourself so you can create motivation, so you can create generational wealth. But the goal from this channel is for you to receive so much great information that you walk away so inspired to where you don't need to cut on a broadcast in order to get something done. If you have to cut somebody else's broadcast on in order for you to do your most important work, you are going to be at a tremendous disadvantage, because you're always going to lose to somebody else who runs off of their own energy. You can know how to be motivated, guys, and that's all good. But the most important thing is being self-motivated day by day. And in those times which motivation fails you, you've got to know how to still get things done. This is how you become world class. Let me check these comments. Let me see where y'all are at on this subject. Ariel, what do you think about this subject? Do you think that motivation is necessary in order for someone to be successful? See, when you set out to have a goal in life, the first time that you think about the goal, you may be motivated. But as you start working on that goal day by day, month by month, year by year, there's guaranteed going to be times, guys, where you are not motivated. The question is, when you're not motivated, what will you do? Will you just stop working and go and sit on the couch and say, oh, well, you know what? I'm just going to watch TV until I feel like doing it? Do you end up feeling motivated and then you do the task? Or do you start doing the task and then you feel motivated? See, this is the reason why so many people have misunderstandings about what creates success. A lot of people think that as long as I end up following my passion in life, it'll never feel like I have to work. That's false. Because no matter what your passion is, if no one is willing to buy your products and your services and you're working very hard to produce them, guess what you're going to start losing over time? You're going to start losing the motivation to put in work. You need to have a certain reassurance and validation that, hey, I'm moving in the right path. This is the reason why when you study guys like Steve Jobs and other innovators, they'll tell you that they were passionate. But the only reason why you know their stories is because somebody was invested in what they were doing. If you're only going off of your passion and you think that that's going to last you for the rest of your life, you are playing a very dangerous game. So, guys, leave me a comment below. Let me know, do successful men need motivation? How does your motivation work in your life? Are you always motivated? Are you sometimes motivated? Leave me a comment and let me know. And I also want to know, as you guys leave me this comment, when you're not motivated, then what do you do? Do you just call the day a wash, say F it? Or do you have certain backups in place to make sure that things get accomplished no matter how you feel? Okay. Now let's talk about this, guys. Let's first talk about the importance of systems when achieving success. Systems will always outlast your motivation. Businesses usually outperform individuals. Businesses typically make more money than the average worker. Do you know why? Because businesses operate off of systems that can run 24 hours a day. The average worker is only going to work 8 hours a day. So that alone should show you the difference in how much more systems get things accomplished than people. This is the reason why there's so many jobs that are being outsourced by machines, kiosks, robots, artificial intelligence. All of these different machines are outworking human beings because we have emotions. We get tired. We cannot run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We need downtime. So I want you guys to see the reason why businesses are so successful when it comes to generating money is because they rely on systems, not motivation. If you're going to model the success that top companies have, you have to do the same things that they do. Okay. No CEO is going to say, okay, guys, well, only come to work today if you feel motivated. Bill Gates didn't spend all of his time programming systems so that the systems could only work if they felt like working. When you build a system into your life, it cuts out any feelings of emotion and it just focuses on getting the job done. And what I want you to ask yourself is, do you have any of your processes automated? So that way, if you didn't feel like working, your automation would still do the work for you on your everyday tasks. I'm going to pause for a quick second because I want you guys to think about this. There's so many of you guys that you start a work day and you just hit the ground running. You got a billion things on your to-do list, but you never ask yourself, okay, in the millions of tasks that I'm doing right now, which of these tasks need to get done by human effort? And which of these things can I program a system to do? Right? So, for example, when you go to the grocery store, you might think, okay, there needs to be a cashier working up at the front. But now there's a system that does the processing for you. You don't need a human being to scan the barcode. You don't need a human being to tell you the order total. All you need is to program a system to do the exact same things that the person was doing. Instead of just looking to businesses for this, why not do this yourself? Okay. So if there's certain emails that you got to get sent, how can you start creating automated systems that will send out the messages for you? If you know that there's certain communications that need to get done, why are you doing all of the communications yourself? Guys, what I'm trying to show you in tonight's broadcast is one of the reasons why you may be hitting a ceiling in terms of your productivity and your results is because you may be feeling too motivated. Sometimes you guys feel so motivated, you feel like you can get everything done. And because you feel like you can accomplish the world on your own, you never take time to build systems. You never think through your habits, and you never build the teams so that other people can get the work done for you. If it's only you working, no matter how motivated you are, you can only go but so far. So sometimes it's better for you not to be motivated and rely on your systems, your habits, and teams to make sure that they can get the job done. Because if you are ever going to start up a successful business, if that business cannot successfully run without you, you don't have a business. That's why you have to have systems. Let me check these comments real quick. Let me see where y'all are at. Ariel says, do you need motivation? Absolutely not. Motivation is great in the beginning when you have enough energy, time, etc. to make an effort and you just need a little push to get going. But when you are exhausted or frustrated, you need more than that. You need to be ready to put in work on the days when it's the last thing that you feel like doing. Absolutely. But now I'm trying to make this process easier for you because everything that you know that you have a hard time doing, you should be building systems around that. If there's something that you need to do as a part of your business and you know you don't feel like doing it, it's dreadful for you, where's the system to automate it? If you try to wake up every day and say, I'm just going to will myself to do this accounting, I'm going to will myself to do this marketing, but you hate marketing, you hate accounting, you're going to lose all of your motivation. And if you're not motivated, but you don't have a system and a team in place to back up your efforts, guess what happens? You don't promote anything at all. You don't take care of any of your business records. You don't have any checks and balances. Everything relies only on you. If everything relies on you, that's not a business. You've just signed up for another job. Okay. So Ariel says right here, that's so true. I know that I need better systems in my life. So let's talk about this, guys. Okay. The first thing that I want you guys to think about is what motivates you? What are some of the tasks and the activities that you take on that you feel a lot of energy whenever you do it? I want you to put those activities on a list. I also want you to think about, okay, what is it about what I do in a day that demotivates me? Some of you guys, it may be checking your finances. Some of you guys, it may be when you're working on certain parts of your business. What are the things that you are not motivated by? And I want you to put those in a list also. See, most people never do this. Most people wake up, and they do a bunch of different random things, and then they go through life without ever asking themselves, what are the things that I really feel a lot of energy doing, and what are the things that I don't feel so great about doing. Now, for me in my personal life, my objective is to spend every day doing the things that I want to do. I know it might sound simple on the surface, but if you are working at a 9 to 5 job or you're running a business, you should already know that sounds like you're in heaven. You only get to do the things that you want to do. What world do they do that? You're always going to have to do things as an adult that you don't want to do. But part of the reason why so many Americans are doing things that they don't want to do so much is because they never create a system that tells them these are the activities that you should focus on, and these are the activities that you should eliminate, automate, or delegate, all because it is not tied to your motivation. Okay, so let's talk about these systems. The systems that you work towards, these need to be systems of you holding yourself accountable, and you need to have systems to automate everything that you do. Okay, so the systems that hold you accountable includes things like your alarms, what time you wake up, what time you get something to eat, a calendar system to tell you when your meetings are for the day so that you don't lose track of time. Then, on top of that, you need to have your own other systems of automation that says, okay, well, you know what? If I do these 10 tasks in a day, how can I find opportunity to start automating all of these different things? And I'm going to put this right now to one of my assistants. One of my assistants, I know will go back and watch this video. Add 2-hour tasks for the company. Look at the list of all of the things that I do, and then figure out some of the automation opportunities so that I can do less. Because if I can do less, I can have more motivation to do the things that I really want. I will have less energy if I spend all of my time doing all of these random things, half of the things I don't want to do, and it's going to deplete me of my energy. Guys, I'm not telling you that motivation is bad. I'm telling you that you need to know how to use motivation in its proper place. If we know that motivation comes and goes, that means that we need to create 24-hour systems that will serve as our safety net. So anytime where that motivation is not there, it doesn't stop the goal from getting accomplished. Okay. So now Yasha Allah says, define motivation. A lot of people don't know what it really is. Now, when I'm using this term motivation, right? I'm speaking about how most people think of it in the sense of, okay, whenever I have a certain emotion of excitement, okay, whenever I have a certain thought of, wow, I really feel like doing something today, I feel like I can accomplish the world today. You know, I'm talking about whenever people have like this cloud 9 type of feeling that they could play superhero and they're fired up and they're ready to take on the world. That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying motivation. Okay. Most people convince themselves that they should only work on their most important projects whenever they have a sense of feeling. But you cannot go off of feelings alone if you're going to be successful, because you could wake up on a Monday morning and not feel motivated to work. And you could wake up, on another day and you could feel like getting things done. But what if your opportunity only came on that Monday? What if your biggest opportunities only come during select times where you don't feel like doing it? Are you going to miss that opportunity all because your motivation isn't tied to your window of success. These are all things that you need to think about in order to be successful. Okay. So Anika says, I love the creative aspects of what I do, but hate the accounting part. Are you building the systems, the habits, and the teams to move that problem out of the way? Okay. So, for those of you guys that are just now joining, we're talking about, do successful men need motivation? Make sure that you smash that thumbs up button. And if you guys enjoy tonight's broadcast, please make sure that you donate. You can either give a super chat or you could donate through Cash App or PayPal. The links are in the description below. Now, the reason why I'm going over this subject, guys, is because if we're going to successfully create businesses and build generational wealth, then that means that the show must go on, regardless of if we're feeling up to it, if we're tired, if we're going through an emergency, if we're unavailable. No matter what, we must create systems that help our mission get accomplished. And most people never take the time to build those systems. Instead, they rely purely off of motivation alone. This is the reason why there is such a problem right now with health and fitness in America, because most people will say, well, if I don't feel like working out, then I won't work out. If I don't feel like eating healthy, then I won't eat healthy. But look at everybody that you see with a great physique. Do they only work out when they feel like working out? Or do they get their biggest results whenever they work out when they hate it? How many times have you done a workout and you were dreading the thought of doing the exercise, but then after you were done with your workout, you said, man, I feel great. Man, I feel so accomplished because, I went on this run. How many of y'all have ever felt that way? See, there's so many mind games that we play with ourselves that holds us back from our success. But if we figure out, how can I get past that, then that is where the success begins. Okay, hear what I'm saying clearly, guys. We are our own worst enemy so much of the time, right? We get in our own way around the clock. So if we can be honest with ourselves and realize that we are the main ones that are holding us back, the power lies in the answer to the question, how do I get out of my own way? You can create systems to get out of your own way. You can build habits to get out of your own way. You can create teams where other people will do the work for you. If I were you, I would be thinking about every single way that you can stop yourself from being your own worst enemy. So even if you don't produce 100%, you have systems and you have teams that will produce at that level for you. That's what we're focusing on. Okay. This is the key to success in all businesses. You've got to know how to be able to train teams as well as the company how to produce without you present. First, okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about why you need to have habits that are more important than motivation. Your life comes down to the sum of your habits. I don't care how motivated you feel on any one day. Your life is the outcome of your day-to-day decisions. Most of us will end up living a life that is purely based upon habits because most of your life's actions are based upon your subconscious thoughts, not the things that you are constantly thinking. Okay. The things that you are consciously thinking, that only represents a small part of your brain. Most of the food that you eat is based upon your subconscious thoughts. Most of the communication that you have is based upon your subconscious. How many times do you check the phone and it's just second nature for you? You don't set goals to check your phone. It's subconscious behavior. So what we have to do is we got to stop putting ourselves in a space where all of our bad habits are in our subconscious, but all of the things that we really need to do within our lives is conscious only. We need to build our life in such a way where the things that we need to be doing is a part of our conscious and our subconscious thoughts. So let me give you an example. When I budget my money, that's more subconscious than it is conscious. I could be having the worst day in the world, but I am so programmed to check my budget at least 5 minutes within a day that no, even if the sky is falling down, I'm going to check my budget. That's because that's a part of my habits. It's not something that I have to use willpower in order to do. Also, when it comes to me studying and teaching the word, it's not just something that I think consciously about. I It's just something that I do on a regular everyday basis. I do it day to day, week to week, year to year because it's been so deeply ingrained in me to do that that's the only life I know. I couldn't imagine a world where I wasn't studying and teaching God's word. And so whatever it is that you are called to do in your life, you have to shift it from, oh man, this is what I want to do with my life, to this is the only life I know. See, when we talk about Michael Jordan being so competitive, him competing is all he understands. So anything that he puts his hand to, he's going to be competitive at. Whether it's golf, whether it's basketball, whether it's business, whether it's gambling, he's already programmed himself to thrive and dominate in the game. You got to learn how to stop only having your things only in your conscious thoughts and putting it towards habits. Okay. So we've talked about why motivation doesn't help you get long term results. You may only feel motivated once or twice a week. So, in those days where you don't feel motivated, you got to focus on your systems, you got to focus on your habits, and you have to focus on your teams. Okay. So, we talked about the importance of you building your systems. We talked about how it's important for you to build your habits. Okay. And we also need to talk about the importance of building your teams. Guys, this is the reason why all successful companies have lots of employees. When you look at the biggest companies in America, whether it's Amazon, FedEx, Walmart, you'll notice they all have a lot of employees because they need other people outside of the CEO pushing the company forward. The reason why they have so many people on staff isn't just because they want to do more work, is because they understand that the CEO is not always motivated. What This is the reason why they'll always talk about how business owners could be somewhere on a beach getting rich while people working in the company are the ones moving the business forward. You cannot just rely on the business owner alone. You have to get out there and you got to start training teams. You got to start training employees. You got to come up with processes and training videos on how you do what you do. I always tell you guys about the importance of having an assistant. You could have a virtual assistant. You could start hiring people. And even Anika was talking about doing outsourcing. So Anika just said, I haven't fully outsourced the accounting part yet, but I get up early and work on it bit by bit each morning so I don't get overwhelmed. I think that's a great thing to do as well. You know, if you don't have a team set up yet, okay, all of y'all need to focus on building teams long term. Your teams will help you build your systems. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link for y'all to cam up. I want y'all to give me y'all's thoughts on this subject. Do successful men need motivation? Okay. Motivation is cool and it's something nice to have. But when you don't feel like doing the most important thing, what is going to happen in your life? Are you going to quit and give up? Or are you going to find a way to keep going? This is the reason why successful men often talk about the importance of discipline. Okay. It's very childish of us, guys, to only do things when we want to do it. If we are going to succeed in this world, we're going to have to be consistent day in and day out. And that requires you to have systems, habits, as well as teams. Okay. So when we talk about these teams, guys, you're building your team to train other people on how you do what you do so that you have a safety net. If you are building a business and the business doesn't move forward without your efforts, you don't have a business. All you have is another job. Okay. You will know that you have a successful business once you can step away from it and everything is still running on autopilot. So here's what I want you guys to do. I want you to rate how often you're motivated. Okay. Tell me, out of 7 days in a week, how many days on the average week are you motivated for success? And when you find yourself motivated, right? What level do you work at? Do you work at 100%? Do you work at 90%, 80%? How motivated are you? And how hard does that make you push? And I want you to realize again that if you're somebody that's always motivated, because some of us are more motivated than others, understand that that can actually work to your detriment. Because if you always feel that you're on, you want to start doing all the work yourself. You never want to rely on systems, and you never take the time to build habits and teams. And that's the reason why you will eventually hit a plateau. If you don't take anything else away from what I'm saying on this broadcast, if you don't take the time to build systems, habits, and teams, you will hit a plateau and you could be the most motivated person in the world. Okay, guys? So that is the essence of this broadcast. If you guys have any questions about motivation, please feel free to let me know. I wanted to just put in just some quick nuggets here for you guys, just to give you something to think about. We talk about building businesses, but a lot of us lack the motivation to get started. Some of you guys might have gotten through the process of filing your LLC, and you might be working on building your first product or service, and you might be finding yourself really at a loss because you haven't found a sense of motivation or encouragement to keep working. When those times happen, you've got to keep going. But it's not just you that should keep going. It's you and your systems. It's you and your teams. It's everything that you are building to save yourself from yourself. So that way the business can still run, whether you're sleeping, eating, working, no matter what you do, your mission is so important that it still needs to move forward. Okay. So, guys, click here to get your 2 free stocks. The Uzziah Show is sponsored by Webull, one of the fastest growing financial brokerage companies in the world. I see my brother Yasha Allah is on. What you got on this subject, brother Yasha Allah? Do successful men need motivation?
Shalom, big brother. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. You're looking good.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lord's will. Motivation. I would say it varies. I mean, me personally, I really don't need it because I know what I have to do. Don't get me wrong. I have my off days. Don't get me wrong. Everybody do.
Right.
But most majority of the time, I've been doing for so long. I just know I have to do it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? At all. You know what I'm saying? So if I take 3 days off what I'm fidgeting because of if I get that comp, I need to do something. You know what I mean? So other people, you just have to know what your goal is. Like you said, motivation.
Right.
But I said define motivation because we see the words. A lot of times we forget what the word really mean. You know what I mean? And my parents, my father, he was big on that. What does it mean? What does it mean? I know what it means. You tell me what it means. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So I had to go through that all the time. You know what I mean? So, and I did my kids the same way, so they know exactly what it really means in all the contexts of levels. You know what I'm saying? But if you have your goal set up, which is the action, goals are
Right.
action, and then you're motivated to get there. You know what I'm saying? I'm motivated for one big reason, which everybody is, and Mr. Billmore. You know who he is, right?
Right.
Mr. Billmore. He's the biggest motivator.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? For those who don't know what I mean, Mr. Bill me more. So, you know what I mean? You got bills.
Right.
But, I see my goal now. Like you said, my final goal, I see it since I've been doing in his classes. Before I didn't. I was doing the old way, just waking up, driving a truck. That was it because I was taught back in the day. Wasn't a lot of opportunities. You know what I mean? Now I know there's opportunities for me, more opportunities for me. You know what I mean? But you got to, if you motivate, say, this is where I want to be 5 years, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years from now, then you can start putting that in action. Hey, I got to do it. Nobody's going to do it for you. You can't do it. Like you said, you can't do it by yourself. I found the hard way. Like you told me. I had to call somebody, man, forget that. You know what I mean? But if you do all yourself, you burn yourself out.
Now, this is getting interesting, and I'm so happy that Nicole P is on here. And I like getting these different perspectives. Nicole P says, I believe self-motivation is essential. It forces you to remember your why. However, extrinsic, external factors, not so much. Before we get into this topic, I want you to give us your definition of motivation, because I think that would be good for us to be able to get on the same page to understand your perspective. What do you mean when you use the word motivation?
For me, motivation is that I have to do it because it's part of my goal. That's part. They all coincide together for me. You know what I mean? So I have to do this before I'm retirement. I have to do this. So I'm aware of that because I don't want to be in that situation as my other family members, my people on the street. I don't want to go through that. I just don't, because it's hard for them. And I feel sorry for a lot of people, you know what I mean? And I refuse, Lord, I refuse to go through that. You know what I'm saying? He directs everything, you know what I mean? But I put my foot forward for my motivation, the goals, and that together makes me want to do it even more.
Right. Now, okay, so now I'm gonna get back. Now I'm going to get back to Nicole P's comment. And Nicole P, I wish that I could see you on camera, sister. I would love to have a face-to-face discussion with you on this topic to get your full perspective. But as long as you leave a comment below, we'll go for that, sister. Okay, we'll go for the commentary. For those of y'all that are just chiming in, today we're talking about, do successful men need motivation? Are y'all motivated to donate to tonight's broadcast? How can I motivate you to support this platform? All right. If y'all love what this show is about, if you can appreciate the effort that's being given to you guys to help you guys get to the next level of your results, then please donate by tapping that dollar icon directly below the live chat box. I give you guys a big shout out for all of your super chat donations. For those of y'all that you like using Cash App, you can send me a Cash App at $ the Uzziah Show. The links are in the description below. Now, Nicole P says, I believe self-motivation is essential. Let's break that down. I agree with Nicole P. It is essential, but I think it's one of those things in life where you got to have more than that. You see what I'm saying? I view self-motivation the same way that I view breathing air. You know, I need to breathe air in order to live, but I could breathe and be poor. I can breathe and be depressed. I could breathe and be sick. There's more that I have to add onto the equation beyond the motivation, right? Because the thing about it is this, right? When I'm saying I need more than the motivation, obviously you got to back up the motivation with work. The motivation is what can motivate you to work, right? But what I'm saying is, see, the thing about motivation is that it's such a fleeting emotion that you have it in varying degrees, right? So, for example, let's take your trucking business, Yasha Allah. You could be motivated on any given day to want to drive halfway across the world. And then, on other days, you could still be motivated, but you might not want to drive that far. You see what I'm saying? Like, your motivation may not always be on 10. Sometimes your motivation will be on 5. Sometimes your motivation will be on 2. Sometimes your motivation will be on 6. But the problem is, motivation is so fickle that how can you ever achieve world-class results all by going off of a variable that constantly changes, right? So you go out into the world. The world says every day, I need 100%. But some days you say, okay, well, I'm motivated today for 100%. Another day you say, well, I'm motivated to want to do 100%, but I'm not that motivated to give 100%. You see, I don't know about y'all, how motivation works for y'all. I am arguably the most motivated person I know, and I could find anything to motivate me, whether it be something positive or negative. But for me personally, even in being so self-motivated, I still need other things to hold me down because if I'm working 12 hours a day, I could get in the hour 10 and be like, damn, I'm losing motivation right now. So I might need to have somebody on staff to say, okay, hey, when my shift is ending, yours is starting. This is the reason why I would hire people to work for me overseas. See, I'm giving that game out, Yashala. They not hearing me. But see, I'm giving them the game because I'm trying to show them, like, even if I'm motivated, right? There's still times where I have to take breaks to rest and recover. And so I do fully agree. Self-motivation is essential. And I think that a lot of people are not successful and will struggle to ever be successful because they are not self-motivated or a self-starter, right? But all I'm saying is it's an essential ingredient, but you got to have more ingredients in there. If I'm having soup and the only ingredient that I have in the soup is broccoli, well, where's my water? Where, you know what I mean? Where's my seasonings? Where's everything else that goes into this soup beyond that one element? And that's why I'm saying this is the reason why you got to stack on top of the motivation your systems. This is the reason why you got to stack on top of your motivation your team, because every time you are 100% motivated and do have the willpower to press forward, the systems that you've built will only press you forward that much stronger. Quick shout out to Kim Davis for the $5 super chat. Thank you so much for the support and love, my sister. For those of y'all that are just now joining, we're talking about, do successful men need motivation? Okay. What are your thoughts on what I was just saying there, Yasha Allah? What do you think about being self-motivated?
You're correct, because a lot of days it's like, nah, not today. Like, nah, today.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of those. You know what I'm saying? And fortunately, I can do that. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not committed on a low, I'm committed. You know what I mean? And if I'm not, I like, we call you. Can you do? Nah, I really don't want to do it today. Yeah. I'm just not. That's okay. Well, you know what I mean? I just go chill out. You know what I'm saying? I get my mind, relax. You gotta relax your mind. That's number 1, 2. You gotta relax your mind. I play video games, you know what I mean? Ghost Recon, all that, but Who would go get so live or know about that? You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right.
Black Shogun. You see that? You better run. But anyway, you got to get away from a lot of things too. Like you said earlier, when your other show, you got to relax. Also, take a break because you
Right.
will get burned out. But there's a lot of times like, nah, man, I don't. Listen, I'll do it tomorrow, or because you just get tired because you
Right.
do so much. Your mind is doing so much anyway. You know what I mean? Like me, I make over 7,000 decisions every hour. That's trucking, period,
Wow.
and that will burn you out. Plus, I gotta read. Plus, I gotta study. You know, we in the truth, so I gotta do that. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? I got one more daughter. She wants to be a doctor or what's it called that for medicine? Get the pills out. Pharmacist.
Physician, pharmacist.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, right. So it's like, oh my God, another 10 more years. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
and I'm 60. You know what I'm saying? So I'm preparing for that, like you said too. You know what I mean? And and that motivates me right there. The truth motivates me. What you show, your teaching motivates me also too, because I never knew. I
Right.
just did. And people can't blame themselves when they get my age and they don't have anything. They can't blame themselves. They're
Absolutely.
going to blame themselves. They can't blame it by up but themselves. I'm sorry. You know, like, hey, you, you can do it. You just got to be motivated. This is where I want to be 3 years. Go, do a 1 year goal, do a 3 year goal, do a 5 year goal, do a 7 year goal, like that, and you can see how you're progressing. You know what I mean?
And if I could say something on that, and this is just my theory, I think that God gives us motivation as the Kickstarter to our long-term success, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is, like, take for example whatever it is that you want to do. Like, you have an idea of, okay, I want to start up a trucking business. You then begin to imagine, all of the benefits that'll come with being successful in trucking, and as a result, you then become motivated to want to get started, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the motivation becomes the catalyst to get you going. And I think that sometimes we tend to use the catalyst as the lifeblood of doing the work. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, somebody can actually be motivated to do a thing from start to finish. For most people, that's rare. If somebody is motivated in the outset, the best thing for them to do is to realize, if there ever becomes a point where they will no longer feel motivated on any one day, use that starting motivation to give you enough sense to build safety nets along the way. Build your
Right.
systems, build your habits, build your teams, because sometimes the team will need to carry you over until you start getting motivated again. I mean, we'll know about guys that might be millionaire, billionaire entrepreneurs that might have been very motivated to work on something, but then something just comes over them and they all might need to take a break or go soul searching or something like that. But then they get their head back in the game. But the only way that they could return back to the company and the company still rebound is because during a time where they were motivated, they had the systems in place, they had the staff, they had the protocols in place. Because if they just said, okay, well, you know what? This is going to be about me and my motivation alone. Well, if they ever walk away from the business, then they're done, because if they're not working, no money's coming in. Look at what Kim Davis said. I have to pull from discipline 95% of the time.
Right.
Hey, for some people, that's just how it is. Like I said again, I'm definitely one of the most motivated people that I know, and I got to use discipline a lot of times. Like, I got to tap into it, because even if I start the day motivated, it don't necessarily mean by the end of the day I'm just as motivated. Like, here's something y'all got to think about, Yasha Allah. If I'm doing a show late night, right, I might have had motivation at 12 noon, but my motivation could have ran out at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. But y'all still came to see the show at 7 o'clock. So regardless of where I am, you see that you got to be able to pull. You have to pull from different things. You got to pull from that discipline hat. You got to pull from that motivation hat. Uh, I don't want to say that the motivation doesn't matter, but you gotta the more the merrier, man.
Right.
Motivation, discipline, systems, habits, teams. You really have to stack the deck to work in your favor, so that way, no matter how you feel, the job still gets done.
Right.
Now let's look at what Mikhail said, okay? Because this is starting to turn into a hot topic. The best motivation we can receive is from close ones, wife, brothers, husbands, etc. I'll be honest on this one, Yasha Allah. I think on some level your
Some.
motivation source is relative to the person. You
Right.
know, I believe that motivation. Some people are very motivated by money. Some people are motivated by cars. Some people are motivated by women. Some people are, and you've talked about that a lot at length, so you should know I'm not lying on that. You know what I mean? Like some people are motivated for family, for their kids. Um, I'm very motivated just by me walking in the purpose that God has given me. A lot of my motivation is very intrinsic. A lot of times people will try to tell me anything, but just because somebody else says it to me, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to make or break whatever it is that I'm doing. Does that make sense? And if I could be completely transparent, the way that people like me are wired, we get some of our best motivation from our haters. Some of the some of the some of some of the most daunting things that I've ever done was just on the strength of somebody telling me you're not smart enough. You will never do this. You will never be successful without me. And that just knows how to light a match so strong that it's like if it wasn't for a hater saying that, I might not have actually walked in 100% of my greatness. I might have been comfortable giving 70% of my efforts. But because somebody hit that switch in me, like it pushes you to another level. And even a lot of times you talk about the truth, we read that in the scriptures. David, he tapped into a certain element because of Goliath. Even when you look at sports teams, the Lakers versus the Celtics, the Bulls versus the Knicks. Sometimes certain people get motivated for all of these different reasons, and I strongly feel that if you're going to be successful, you got to figure out whatever motivates you.
Right.
You have to be very honest with yourself about what gives you your motivation, and then just continually tap into that from day to day in order to be successful. Again, going back to what Nikki P said, it forces you to remember your why. I love that she made that comment because I actually have my why on my office board. And the reason why I have my why on the office board is because I know that I'm going to be so daunted by whatever it is that I do that I'm eventually going to hit a point where I'm going to feel tired and I'm going to want to give up. And so whenever I then begin to lose that feeling of, man, I'm in this, man, I'm working, I'll then go up and then look at that why, and then I'll get remotivated all over again. So you really got to know what motivates you and how. What are your thoughts on that, Yashala?
That's true. That's how my motivation. You know what I mean? Because I was never, like I said, a sentimental man, as far as cuddly, and because where I grew up, you know what I mean? It's where I grew up. You know what I mean? Couldn't be weak. That was not tolerated. You know how that goes. I
Right.
went to the military in the old school when it was real, real hard. They called you names, the N word. That's what it was too. And the branch I went was real hard. So I was never touchy. You know what I mean? And I regret a lot because my kids here today. I regret a lot. But my
Right.
motivation comes to when I adopted in the Philippines. She gave me that motivation because they're grateful for it. If people have been overseas in Mexico, Philippines, third world countries, you have, big brother, they're grateful for a lot of things. I mean, the
Right.
smallest little thing is like, it's only $2 here. They're
Right.
grateful for that. It's like you're the king. It was like, so that scared me a little bit. You know, 'cause I was never used to that. You know
Right.
what I mean? But that's my motivation. Make sure that she provided for, because third world country. You know what I mean? So that she can have a good life. You know, and plus my older age. You know what I'm saying? And everything else. And I hope I raise my kids here to see, hey, this is where to be. You know what I mean? I'm trying to set things up for you because I'm not going to be here. You know what I'm saying? I waste a lot of my years. I'm trying to get you not to do the same thing that your daddy did. But kids, kids, they follow what, like you said, they follow what their parents do. You know what I mean? We to blame for
Absolutely.
a lot of stuff. We do. I take the blame. I tell them quick. I take the blame
Right.
because I didn't know.
Absolutely. So I want you to now we're going to talk about this next comment that came from Nikki P. And for those of y'all that want to get in on this topic, man, cam up with us. Okay. Because again, like I said, I do feel like everybody has a different level of motivation. I do feel like people are motivated in different ways. I think that we all have a different prioritization of what motivation means. So let's just have the talk, because as we talk, like, I'm soaking up game from y'all on how y'all find motivation. And as we have the conversation, I think that there's some good things that we can all take away from it. Now, Nicole P says, I agree with habits and discipline. However, how do you ensure that your systems and teams won't fail? We know that some biblical and worldly teams that failed, i.e., Paul and Barnabas, Damon Hove, etc. So let's break this down, because this is a very, very, very hot topic to me. And I'm gonna put Nikki P out there for a moment. Nikki P, she's in the IT world. And one of the concepts that they talk about in IT is Six Sigma. Now, Six Sigma is basically um I'm trying to break it down to a smallest elements. It's a way of doing business to where for everything that you have going, you have millions of backups in place, so that way nothing on its own can fail. So let me give you an example. When you apply Six Sigma into flying an airplane, even if one thing on the plane doesn't work, there's a billion other checks and balances on that plane to make sure that the plane doesn't crash. This is why you have, gauges. This is why you have co-pilots. This is the reason why you have air traffic controllers. There's so many different things that goes into aviation, that they make sure. Now, we're not just relying on the pilot alone. We don't care if we have the world's best pilot. We're still going to make sure that they have a co-pilot. We're still going to make sure that they go through this pre-flight checklist to make sure that they've checked all of the fuel levels and all of the gauge levels. Like, they have so many redundancies set up in flying that plane that they never rely on any one thing. And I would say, even as we talk about it from a biblical aspect, even though the Most High appointed many prophets, that's a part of the reason why he also created the Bible, because he wasn't just going off of what a man would do alone. He was like, no, write this down. So just in case you ever fall off, we still have the scriptures that we can extract wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from, with or without you. You see what I'm saying? That's what I think holds the key to success in so many things. I'm not saying it's one thing or the other. I'm saying that a lot of success in any arena comes on the strength of having redundancies, okay? Whether it's you have it in people or automated systems, whether you have it in trainings or in different programs. There's so many different things, like even anything that you could think of, man. If you have a house, right? You can have your power from a house come from, standard electricity. But what do people like to get as a backup in case the power goes down? You get a generator. You see what I'm saying? Like you never, no matter how good any one thing is, you always create backups in the event that any one thing fails. So I agree, you do need to be a self-starter. And I want to point that out there as well. I believe that there's a certain difference between being motivated and being a self-starter, because sometimes you might not feel like doing something, but you'll still do it because you're just the type of person that's a go-getter that gets things done. I'm firmly of the mind, you got to have the mindset to go out and get it. You got to be a go-getter to win, right? But what I'm saying is that whenever you think about anything, man, I mean, there's so many examples. You think about doctors and surgeons. Surgeons don't just go on an operating table and say, okay, well, I'm gonna just try this one way, and if this one way don't work, I'm not gonna try it another way. This is the reason why they go through med school. They have all of these backup doctors and surgeons. There's always backups. I'm saying have your motivation, have your discipline, have your habits, have your systems. And when you go out in a day fully prepared, you have a much better chance at one of those things working in your favor than the person that shows up only relying on one thing in general and then them walking away with nothing if that one thing fails them. I'm a firm believer that if I step into a day knowing that I've got motivation, I've got automation, I've got staff, I've got all these other things, I'm willing to bet on my own success rather than anybody that just comes into something only with motivation consistently long term, because I know and can count on, no matter how good your motivation may be, eventually it's going to give out. So that's my thoughts. What do you think on that, Yasha Allah?
You're true about that. You're definitely true. You got to have motivation. What you're doing, like me in trucking, I try to learn everything over the years of trucking. The old hands, not the new hands. New hands just gossip. That's all they do. They ain't even got a screwdriver on certain things if it's your truck. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I tried to learn everything and do everything on my younger years, so I know how to work it myself if I need to get done. Because I'm like I said, I don't work out there in the snow, 30 below zero on this truck to get me off the road. And 30 below zero, you don't know what that feels like. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You know what I mean? And like that guy that owns the company I'm leased to, right? He's I think Manessa. Every time he comes down, he always makes sure he talks to me, and I make sure I talk to him because he shows me a little thing, like you said earlier in your other classes. I'm trying to do this and keep this close. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like if I was there, I'd be around you and keep this close, like you said earlier, and that's true. Just like when I learned about how to do dogs, I work for free, and a lot of brothers and sisters is not going to work for free. It's
Facts.
not. And back then, listen, this wasn't knowing nothing about dogs. That was you didn't hear about that. Very, very few. So he said, "Come on, I'll show you how. You want to know about dogs and Doberman pinchers?" I got there, I cleaned doo doo, washed the dogs, had them bite me. That's the way it was. If I wanted to know for myself, and I did that for years, because I was motivated to know about Doberman pinchers, because I was infatuated with Doberman pinchers. You see what I'm saying? Right. And so, but you got, like I said, that self energy, that discipline, you got to put them somewhere.
Yeah.
Put them somewhere, you'll be good.
And if I could just be honest with y'all, that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm always looking to invest in passive streams of income, because I know just within myself that the motivation that I have right now I may not have that in the next 5 years. I may not have that in the next 10 years, and my motivations may change, right? So I may not have the same. I'm very impressed by you, Yasha Allah, because you still have that get up and go at 60. You still know how to get it done. And I could do a whole nother show about that because some of the most successful people in the world roll just like you. When you see presidents, people that are running for office, these are some of the hardest working people in the world, and they'll be running for office, traveling all over the world at 75 years old for a presidential campaign. And so, you just got to be real with yourself, though, and you got to say, okay, how long can I see myself working on this level? For me, as motivated as I think I am, if I'm just keeping it a buck, I don't see myself doing it in the exact way that I do for a lifetime. For example, me doing these shows 6 days a week.
Right.
I plan on doing this for a time,
Right.
but I don't see myself doing the shows 6 days a week for a lifetime. You see what I'm saying? And so that's the reason why it's like, okay, if this is my only way that I made money, then what was going to happen to me once I stopped doing the show? You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I talk about investing in real estate, investing in stocks, investing in all these other ventures, because in the time that I say I don't feel like doing this anymore, I still want to be able to have something to sustain myself. You know what I mean? And I think, honestly, this goes back to what I was saying before. I do honestly think that this is how sometimes very motivated people do get tripped up, because sometimes you be so motivated, you never consider, well, what if my motivation changed, or what if I never feel like doing this, again, you know what I mean? So all this has been a great commentary, man. This has been a great commentary, very lively, and I definitely want to give a shout out to Mikhail, Nikki P, Kim Davis, you, Yasha Allah, everybody that's been chiming in on this. Keep leaving me y'all's comments. Do successful men need motivation? I believe that motivation is very important, but you got to bring more to the table in order to sustain yourself long term. And I want to give a shout out to Nicole P for that $10 super chat. Thank you for being so motivated to support your brother, sister. Really appreciate you. Giving all praise to the Most High for that. Any last words on your part, Yasha Allah?
Like you said, just find somewhere in you to motivate you. That's all, to see where you're going for your goals, your future. That's all you got to do. Once you do that, like you said, the health, all that comes in part. Take care of your health, your mind, your soul. Like you said, get rid of dead beats. I never did that to your class. I got rid of dead beats. They hate my guts. Wow. No, dude, I can't. I'm like, 5 years, dude. I can't waste my energy, man. I just can't do it. I just can't. You know what I mean? Just wait. It's it's cry baby this, cry baby that. You know what I'm saying? And I get to the point sometimes, like, I cost my B made back in the day. That is. I'm street still, but it's like, I'm being real with you, man. Don't act like that with me, man. Right. You know what I'm saying? But they mad at me, I cut them off. I'm like, no, I'm looking at other ways. I'm looking at other things for myself right now. Y'all still doing this, like you said, the same thing we did 10 years ago, the same thing we did 5 years ago, the same thing we did was 19, 20. I can't roll like that, man. I just can't. But find it in you. You can motivate yourself, whether you want your goals. That comes in play.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, as we close this out, because y'all really got me thinking on this. I do believe that motivation has its place in parts, but you need to be able to figure out what's going to be the bridge from now until the next time that you motivated. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm saying, like, because I'll give an example. This YouTube game, right? It's very hard for most people to get into this YouTube game because people start off being motivated, and then once they realize how much work it takes to be able to produce content consistently in order to really get on, then they lose motivation, Right? So you stop creating content because you're like, damn, I don't feel like making no more content. I'm tired. You know what I mean? So that's when you have to find your bridge. Okay, I made a YouTube channel. I'm motivated. Okay, cool. I made one video, I made two video, made three video. Now come video four, five, six. Damn, I ain't motivated no more. But damn, if I stop, I know I'm missing my shot. Damn, this person blowing up, that person blowing up. I'm missing my shot. I'm missing my opportunity. What's going to be your bridge? You see what I'm saying? Like your motivation might not kick in again until you hit 500 subscribers. So you got to know, okay, like this is real talk, man. Like whatever your breaking point is, what's going to be that why that Nikki P was talking about earlier that holds you over enough to the point where you really feel like doing this again? You know what I mean? It's like, and this is the reason why I speak to discipline a lot of times, because I genuinely don't think that y'all can even know or tell whenever I really feel like getting on camera versus when I'm just on camera because I gotta be on camera. You gotta keep that energy the same time and time and time again. You gotta find your bridge because the motivation will come in spurts, but you don't need to only work in spurts. You need to work and produce consistently. So you get motivated. Okay, let that motivation last. Find my bridge. Okay, the bridge carries me to the next point. I'm motivated again. Let me find my bridge. Okay, shout out to Shelly from the H. So happy to have you on. Better late than never, Shelly. Today we're talking about, do successful men need motivation? Okay, make sure that you smash that like button on your way in. And I got the question that I'm gonna ask you, Shelly. Do you feel like successful men need motivation? Why or why not? Okay. For those of y'all that have been enjoying tonight's broadcast, please make sure to support your boy. Please make sure that you tap that dollar icon directly below the live chat box. Your super chat donation would motivate me to continue to make more content. If I don't get donations, I am not motivated to get on here 6 days a week to give y'all my time and energy. Do you feel me? Okay. So for those of y'all, thank you as always, my brother Yasha Allah. You definitely keep me motivated. All right. Thank you so much, my brother, for all of your support. And Lord, will we speak soon?
Lord's will.
All right, my brother. So, y'all, this has been an incredible topic. I thank y'all so much for those of y'all that are chiming in. Man, I feel like my sister LA for Life would have loved this topic, man. I know she's somewhere taking care of business. For those of y'all that are on, thank you so much for all of your contributions. I just want to remind y'all that, if you get a lot of value out of these shows, you'll get a lot more value from me if we work together one-on-one. So last week, I started opening up my consultations where you can book a session now and we can work together for an hour to help you start or grow your business. Okay. If you are motivated to be a business owner and you're motivated to take your business to the next level, then make sure that y'all tap in to book a session. Okay. For those of you guys that are looking to improve your personal finances, for those of y'all that are just looking to become the best version of yourself, I'm opening up slots in the month of November for you guys to meet with me one-on-one. Okay. All you got to do is tap the link in the comments below, and then you'll be able to book a session. It'll show you my calendar of what days and times I'm available. Okay. All you got to do is just pick a day and time, and then you'll automatically be set up, and then I'll meet you on that exact day. All right, y'all. So as y'all know, as with every show, I give y'all 2 free stocks. The Uzziah Show is sponsored by Webull, one of the fastest growing financial brokerage companies in the world. On Webull, not only can you invest in stocks, you can also invest in cryptocurrency. So, guys, if you want to be an investor and you really are trying to get in this game, here's some motivation. because Webull is going to give you 2 free stocks just to get started. Okay, so make sure that y'all click that link in the description below. Click the link in the comments below. All right, so y'all, if there's anything that y'all want me to talk about on these shows, please leave me a comment below and let me know. Okay, I make these shows for you guys. I just try to outline all of the things that may be barriers on the road to success. So there will be times that I get on here and I talk about mindset. There'll be times we'll talk about investing. There'll be times we'll talk about business strategies. I work through all of these different things, guys, because all of it is tied directly to you becoming that entrepreneur that you want to be. Okay. So I'll be on here, Lord willing, tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Y'all, if y'all haven't yet gotten y'all's copy of my free book, The How to Succeed Survival Guide, make sure that you reserve your copy. Okay. I'm going to put the link in the comments. All you got to do is give me the shipping information of where you want me to send it, and I'll send it your way. This book, right? How to Succeed Survival Guide. It's about how you can create an amazing life without living paycheck to paycheck. I show you in this book how I paid off my $95,000 in student loans 2 years after I graduated from college. I also talked about how I made the exit out of my 9 to 5 job working in corporate America to becoming a best-selling author, real estate investor, and entrepreneur. Okay. So, guys, make sure that you've reserved your copy. There's been a lot of people that have already gotten their book. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Okay. Um, man, I just looked at this comment from Shelly in the H. I gotta read off this comment. Shelly in the H just said, yes, successful men do need motivation, because if a man doesn't have a goal in his mind, he's just trying to pass time and, in short, sabotaging his future self. Unless you're in school and still finding yourself, that's childish. Man, I see. I got to pull a Yasha Allah now. Okay, I got to look at the definition of the word motivation, because I feel like, as we've been talking on this broadcast, everybody gets a certain context behind the word. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up this definition of the word motivation real quick, just so we could look at it from the scholar's point of view. Okay, what does the word motivation mean? I'm putting it on the screen right here so y'all can see it. Let me share the screen right quick for y'all. If you're just coming in, make sure that you smash the like button. Please make sure that you donate. Okay, what is the meaning of the word motivation? Motivation. Okay. Motivation. The reason or reasons one has for acting or behaving in a particular way. The general desire or willingness of someone to do something. Now, see, this is so interesting, because as it's written, I feel like these are two different definitions, right? So, in the first definition, the reason or reasons one has for acting or behaving in a particular way, that just speaks to what it is that inspires you. That's what I think about when I see this. That's why one of the synonyms to this word is inspiration. However, on this definition, the general desire or willingness of someone to do something, this speaks more to the fuel that you have to actually do the thing. That's why the synonym is enthusiasm, drive, initiative, determination, enterprise. Man, I should have read this definition earlier because for me, like I was telling Yasha Allah, when I hear the word motivation, I go off of more of this, right? But then when I hear other people talk about motivation, I feel like y'all are speaking more on this, coupled with the second definition. But I'm really more so speaking to the actual get up and go factor behind doing a thing. So let me be clear. I'm in full agreement that every last one of us needs reasons. You need a why in order to accomplish a goal. That's off top. My argument on tonight's broadcast was more so shifted from the fact of what happens when the willingness from your reasons run out and you need to find extra fuel to keep going. All of us, sometimes we may be motivated through reasons, but we have to dig very deep to find a willingness in order to actually go off and do something. And that's the reason why I've been talking about having systems, habits, teams. When you can't find it within yourself to be willing to do something for the day, rather than say to hell with it and give up, make sure that you not only discipline yourself to keep going, even when you don't feel like doing something, which is why I use that gym example, but also have other things work in the background so your business and your enterprise still moves forward, even if it's not you doing the work. Look at this next definition. It says motivation. People often need motivation to do tasks they prefer not to do. Do you work? Your motivation is your paycheck. Lost something? Finding it may provide motivation to tidy the house. At the root word of the word motivation is the word motive, which is similarly defined as the reason for a particular action. Although the words are synonyms, when it comes to criminal behavior, people generally ask about the motives leading to the criminal acts, not the motivation behind them. Y'all see how even in this definition, they were given like a slight distinction between the two. That's interesting. Other synonyms for motivation include inspiration and enthusiasm. So people tend to associate motivation with positive acts. All right. So I think, y'all, we've all come to an understanding about this word. Shelley is using motivation as drive. Shelley says, why do we look for outside security when we have the power to secure ourselves? Let's continue to motivate each other, y'all. All right. I love y'all. We had a great discussion. Make sure that y'all book a session if y'all want to work with me, private one-on-one to help you reach your goals. Make sure that you get those 2 free stocks. Most importantly, make sure that you subscribe. If this is your first time checking out this broadcast, be sure to turn on the notification bell after you subscribe, so that way you can be notified whenever I do another show. We do these shows 6 days a week from Sunday all the way through Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Also, that way you can become the very best version of yourself. Until next time, guys, keep staying motivated, all right? And keep pushing. Peace out.